This changes everything for one of the most interesting Raptors prospects on the roster, as Darko Rajakovic has come out and revealed some changes that are coming to Ochai Agbaji's game that can really unlock him specifically on the offensive end. And this is huge because we know how elite Ochai is on the defensive end, and we just brought in a couple players like Davion Mitchell as well as Jamal Shead, who are some of the top on-ball defenders coming into the league and have been into the league. Davion Mitchell's nickname is Off Night because everyone has an off night when they play against him. And Jamal Shead won Defensive Player of the Year at the guard position during the NCAA season last year. So we have a lot of really intriguing defenders coming off the bench of this Toronto Raptors group. We're constructing something really, really interesting. And then if things work out on the offensive end, if these changes work, this is going to completely not only unlock Ochai Agbaji and his development as a basketball player, but really in terms of the types of lineups that this Raptors team will be able to implement and have that type of versatility. So we're going to break down what these changes are, what impact it's going to have on the Raptors team, and why I'm really excited about this core group that we're going to have coming off the bench for the Toronto Raptors next season. But before we dive into that, folks, again, if you're part of the 49% that hasn't hit the subscribe button just yet, we just hit 35,000 subscribers, so join the bandwagon, join the wave of Raptors Digest, and we won't miss a single day of delivery for you guys on Toronto Raptors news. But let's dive into what's going on, because, again, some people might not be familiar with Ochai Agbaji. He was acquired midway through last season, at the trade deadline, trading away a first-round pick to acquire Ochai Agbaji as well as Kelly Olynyk. And Ochai Agbaji had a really interesting season last year. We take a look at his stats. He's a guy that, nothing too crazy. 6 points per game, 3 rebounds, 1.1 assists, 0.6 blocks, 0.6 steals. The box score isn't that great. But the one area of his game that did disappoint a lot of Toronto Raptors fans was the three-point shooting, as he was under 30% from behind the three-point line, and he took a lot of them. He took a decent sort of sample size when he was out there. It was the shots that he take. 49% of all of his shots were three-pointers. You can see it down there at the bottom right. So, again, for 6'5", someone that's 24 and an uber athlete, right? You want to see him be able to have a bit more offensive effectiveness out there on the basketball court. Because frankly, as I mentioned kind of in the intro, Ochai Agbaji is a monster on the defensive end. He is a guy that can really bully a lot of people. He has quick feet. He has a lot of great strength. And we saw his impact on that end of the floor from day one when he joined the Toronto Raptors. But his overall impact really depended on whether or not he was hitting from three that night or if he was missing from three that night. And this is where we have a major update that could really unlock Ochai Agbaji. Is Darko Rajakovic came out with a quote and said that we're able to make some corrections to Ochai Agbaji's shot, and he's been doing really good job in practice and workout setup. Now it's going to be time for him to use those and be confident in his jump shot. There are situations where he needs to be confident spotting up and be ready to shoot while also scoring in different ways. So basically, the Toronto Raptors looked at his jump shot and said, hey, there's some good things there. There's some things, but we tweak the mechanics. We're making adjustments. We're making tweaks. And yes, this short term, I wouldn't be surprised in Summer League if the percentages actually go down. But these needed changes, and we've seen this with the Toronto Raptors. This be really effective for guys like Norman Powell in the past, DeLon Wright. They definitely improved their jump shots while developing this. Pascal Siakam as well. Tweaks to the form, and then becoming really solid, capable three-point shooters in the NBA. And basically, we don't need Ochai Agbaji to be Klay Thompson, to be, a top-tier, three-point shooter in the league to be really effective out there on the basketball court. But if he can get his percentages from 29% to roughly 35%, 36%, just kind of a bit way above league average, for those 3-and-D wings, that's all we need for him to be a really effective basketball player out there on the court. Because, again, Darko Rajakovic kind of came out and said it, that for him, it's not creating so much with the ball in his hands. It's going to be creating while the ball is not in his hands. And he went on to say in this quote, it was a long-winded one, but cutting to the basket, finishing at the rim. We've seen some nasty Ochai Agbaji dunks. He can score from pretty well all over the court. Not necessarily as a creator, off the dribble stuff, but he's a great cutter. He's a big finisher around the basket and does a lot of great things out there on the offensive court. So with this cutting, with this ability to play off the basketball, having an ability to come off of screens, to knock down corners, spot up shots, that is going to really unlock what he's able to do on the offensive end. And then we can really just be excited with what he's able to do. The same way OG was kind of in his rookie season. Again, he was a better three-point shooter coming in right from the jump, but we can really rave into the fact that he's clamping up people on the other team. And Masai Ujiri is really high on Ochai Agbaji, as he came out and said in the postseason press conference. I think this is a quote that got lost by a lot of people, but this was a couple months ago, that even the Ochais of the world, Ochai has the potential to be one of the best defenders in the NBA. We see that. Maybe you don't see it now, but that's why you do these things. You rebuild, you have a process, and you are patient. So Masai Ujiri is fully bought into Ochai Agbaji. It's a part of the reason the Raptors weren't super interested in bringing back Gary Trent Jr. Masai Ujiri, Bobby Webster, we know. They like having two-way basketball players. It's the way our championship core was constructed. It was built. It's why Kawhi was the perfect superstar for our team. You know, an upgrade over DeMar. It's why Marc Gasol, even at his older age, was an upgrade over Jonas Valanciunas. Masai Ujiri is looking to develop and acquire two-way basketball players. And usually the defense is the hardest part to develop, you know, for a young team, for a younger guy. So, I mean, that's the direction that we're going with this Ochai Agbaji, and we've made a couple of moves to really solidify that direction on this team, because you can see it there. I cut off Jamal Shedd's sort of position, but we acquired Davion Mitchell via trade, you know, just a week or so ago, a couple weeks ago now at this point, as well as Jamal Shedd, and those two guys are two of the most intense hounds on the defensive end, and they're going to be in the NBA next season. Both roughly 6'1", 6'2", 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2", depending on where you view the listed heights and stuff like that. And you know, Davion Mitchell didn't put up crazy stats last year, right? 5.3 points, 1.3 rebounds, 2 assists. You know, did shoot 36% from the 3-point line and 46% on quarter threes. So him being 6'2", again, 25 as well, so still pretty young out there in the league. You know, has a lot of potential as a 3-point shooter. I mean, again, similar to Ochai, 50% of his 3-point shots are from or 3-point shots. 50% of his shots are from behind the 3-point line. Davion Mitchell coming in being more of a Kyle Lowry-esque hound, but obviously a bit more aggressive and quick-footed than we saw Kyle Lowry in the twilight of his career. But him, Ochai, and Jamal Shedd, who we saw watching defensive highlights. I recommend everyone going to YouTube and search up defensive highlights of Jamal Shedd. But one defensive player of the year out there for Houston in the NCAA last season. That trio, and again, we have other guys too that are going to be getting minutes in Gradey Dick as well as Jakob Poeltl. But heck, even let's throw Bruce Brown, who when healthy is a good defender out there at this point. You know, Jamal Shedd, Davion Mitchell, as well as Ochai Agbaji, just coming in off the bench. If they have consistent enough 3-point shots to where it's not going to be a Ben Simmons effect left out there beyond the 3-point line, if they're able to knock down their shots and then come in and just hound the offensive players on the other team, that is going to be a very massive headache for any team that's looking to play Toronto, you know, on any given night. So I'm really excited about the versatility, the different range of players we have at the guard spots. Again, we need some more players at that forward position. You know, Mogbo, we'll see if he's ready to go right from the jump. Early Chomcha, I think it's going to be a couple years before he's really, you know, playing in a Raptors rotation if he develops nicely. But I really like the different styles of players, the different guys that we have in this development system for the Toronto Raptors here now at this point. And if Ochai Agbaji can develop that jump shot, that is going to change everything for him as a prospect for this Raptors team. But let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section down below. You guys are the best to make it as far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. I'm signing out. Cheers.